Welcome to SAC Anime Summer 2013. I'm Steve from That One Guy Cosplay, and me and the rest of the CosplayCulture guys are going to take you on a little trip and check some things out. So I hope you'll join us for the entire experience. Okay, our first random cosplayer pull of the day. We have an Asuna Yuki from the very end of Sword Art Online. First off, how long have you been cosplaying?
I've been cosplaying since 2007.
That's not bad. So, which parts of the costume did you make? Which parts did you buy?
Well, we handmade the wings at home out of plexiglass and using a dribble tool to cut it out. And then bolts and nuts and a wooden platform to put underneath the outfit.
Those are definitely really cool. I'm what made me pick this one out anyway. Do you have any thoughts on the con so far? Like, attendees, organization, anything in general?
Well, so far the registration line looks very organized with the weaving and the 2 rows. Versus there's the guy who's always running through the lines, be like, hey, who's a pre-register, come this way. And there was even a lady that asked if we had exacts change and pulled us out of the line in the middle. I mean, that was a pretty good thing right there.
So I'm going with that's definitely impressed with organization-wise. And yeah, we've been noticing that ourselves, that it seems very shine and polished this time around. They've started to get things set up. Is this your first SAC anime, or have you been to a few?
This is my first SAC anime.
I gotta say, you picked a good one. So, is there anything else you find of interest or think is worthy, or you'd like to let the cosplaying world know, even?
Sometimes the bigger the con isn't always the best.
We have definitely run into that. But thank you very much for your time. Our second random cosplayer pull of the day. We're here. I'm not necessarily familiar with this fandom, so could you tell us who you are?
Her Imperial Condescension, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Homestuck. I just call her the Condess, so she's basically the Empress from Homestuck. She's Batter Witch. So.
Cool enough. We're in the presence of royalty. So, just in general, how long have you been cosplaying?
I think this is my 3rd year. I think.
Really? So this is only your 3rd year? It looks good. So, just as a matter of curiosity, how much was made and how much was pre-bought?
This actually took me about 2 weeks to put together because it was really rushed. I just kind of perfected it over time. But the tights, the fishnets and the tights are bought. The leotard is painted and bought. And then the wig is just basically cut up and I smashed it together. The horns I made myself and the trident I made myself.
I'm assuming all the jewelry is, yeah. So yeah, it definitely looks good. Is this your first SAC anime, or is this one that you've been to before?
I went to SAC Winter this year, but it's been a while since I've been to SAC. SAC Winter was the first one I've been to in like a year, and then I went to this one again, obviously. But yeah, I've been 3 or 4 of them ish, somewhere around there.
Okay, so is this, I'm going to say, a SAC anime like your convention that you do, or do you go to a lot of others too?
I've been really spoiled this year. I've been to like 5 cons this year. But the one that I hate to miss and I always go to is Anime Expo. That is like my favorite con.
Yeah, I think we all kind of have our like little home con that's like our one we have to go to. Yeah, mine's an oddball. I have to go to ASIN, which is all the way back in Illinois, so I go every year. And Fanime, which they're a week apart. Anyway, so you do go to a few. Is there anything that you've noticed about this specific SAC anime that you thought was good, you thought wasn't so good, was of note?
Well, I just got here, so I'm hoping I'll be more mobile tomorrow, but otherwise it's been pretty good. Like the line isn't so bad as LineCon/Fanime. Yeah, I like even the Homestuck cosplayers. Not all of them are horrible. There's like a bunch of obnoxious ones, and that was like the worst part. So.
Yeah. And this is a little bit closer to home for me because obviously being a Homestuck at an anime convention, I'm a brony at an anime convention. There's kind of that little bit of feeling of just being on the fringe a little bit. So do you think that might be a little better or worse here or anything of that type, or just do you really notice it?
What do you mean by fringe?
Well, like there's a lot of people who are sort of like this is an anime con, do an anime character, do whatever, and like sometimes like I know a lot of the message boards get a little negative on both bronies and Homestucks and things like that. Do you notice that at all, or?
Yeah, but I don't really experience it like real life, you know. I haven't really seen it online. Like personally, I don't care. Can't dress up as Captain America. I don't. It's a convention. I mean, why do you need to judge? I mean, we're all dressing up as characters. Does it matter?
Thank you so much for that, because that is really something that we are really adamant about, is that it's about expressing your fandom. It's about doing what you love. It's about being who you want to be. It doesn't matter if, you know, you're not perfect for the character or whatever. You do what you want to do. I mean, we're a bunch of geeks. Who are we to judge? So,
I mean, it's like, what do you have the right to judge? You're dressing up like everyone else.
Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Is there anything that you maybe wanted to let the cosplay world know? I mean, this does go up online and everything else, so anything of note or any encouragement, anything?
Don't be discouraged by people who are going to insult your cosplay. I mean, if you love doing it, keep doing it. It's, you know.
That's definitely awesome. And like I said, thank you very much. We're here, day 2, SAC Anime in the dealer's hall. We will be looking around, seeing who we can find, and interviewing cosplayers, con-goers, whatnot. And we'll see how day 2 pans out. So stick with us, and we'll do this. Okay, I'm here with a medic and a heavy from Team Fortress 2. Gonna have to ask questions in turn, so this is a matter of how long have you been cosplaying?
Coming up on about 4 years now. Started at BlizzCon in Anaheim.
Very cool. You?
About 3. I pretty much started when he was first going to SAC Anime with him.
Okay. And oh, that's very cool. That is awesome. I love group family cosplays. Anyway, so how long have you guys been going to SAC Anime specifically?
About 2.5 years. We were back over when it was the Radisson and then I think the Wood Lake, and now it's something else even.
Okay, so what on this costume was built? What was bought? You know, how did you do everything?
Most of it is just completely built from scratch. Like the gun here is all PVC pipe, craft foam, wood, chicken wire. The clothing is mostly bought and modified. Like the jacket was actually a ski jacket. I took the sleeves off and painted black. Black jeans, black boots. And this is all PVC pipe and halves of Easter eggs.
I was actually kind of wondering that. All the little bullet tips.
Yep.
Easter eggs. Very festive. Anyway, and what about yours?
Well, actual Metagun itself is mostly PVC, duct tape, a little slip of wood on the bottom, and this is pretty much an old coffee pot right here. Clothing, most of it was bought a bit modified from some leftover cloth. Also bought the pipe and shades. Yeah.
Save our lives.
I was going to say, honestly, if you hadn't bought the shades and you had made the shades, I would be truly jaw-dropped. That would be amazing.
Actually, we bought those shades yesterday at a booth on the other side of the artist alley.
Well, there you go.
Did you? Punk booth, I think it was.
Very cool. As our little, what do you think of SAC Anime, this specific one in general? Organization-wise, con-goer-wise, what you've seen from the artist alley, what do you think about it?
The level of improvement is ridiculous. Just from how crowded and cramped it was back at the old hotel with all the expansion that's happened here, and then managing to fill that from January and then expand on it even more. Having huge walkways between the dealer's booths and the artist alley is a huge improvement, especially for people who make big, stupid things like me. I can't think of anything I would change to improve, but I would not be surprised if they managed to.
Very cool. You pretty much agree on that?
Pretty much. I mean, a lot has definitely changed for the better since the old Radisson.
Yeah, no more knocking things off of dealer booth things.
That still happens,
Well, okay, yeah, but it's more your fault this time if it happens.
Fair enough.
You didn't keep your space, as opposed to literally my shoulders are wider than the paths. So, so just as kind of a last note, is there anything you have to say to anybody watching, cosplayers, con goers, anything like that? Words of encouragement, words of discouragement, the world, whatever.
No.
Just one. If you try to do something for Attack on Titan, don't actually tear off your skin. That's probably a bad idea.
I'm sorry,
Good.
thought of one. Do not underestimate Goodwill. It has everything you need.
Thrift shopping, the way to go. Right up there with Macklemore. Well, thank you guys for doing this with us here at the CosplayCulture, our first artist interview ever. As our first little thing, what's your name?
Katrina Salamidez.
Very cool. And you have some, we'll be honest, we walked through and we basically picked out whoever we thought had the most impressive wall of art. So it's very good. It's very cool. More on this end, we're just kind of interested in what do you think of the way that SAC Anime is run, their dealings with the artists, maybe their rates, any thoughts you have on the convention itself?
First of all, thank you. My ego just went like 15 points up, so I feel like I leveled up here. But I think I really like it. I really like how it's grown, because I still remember when it was at the Scottish Rite Centre, and it was really tiny. So, yeah, I'm old.
I was going to say, actually, the first one that we ever went to was the one after the Scottish Rite. The first one in the Radisson is the first one I went to.
Fire hazard.
Yeah, the Fire Hazard Radisson, that one. So, but other than that, anything like, staff-wise, people-wise?
I feel like the staff here has been great. They've been so helpful. Everyone at the table back there at the staff table has been nothing but accommodating, and they're just very pleasant to work with. And I feel like it's nice, because when you're stressing out about everything else with a con, it's so nice when you have people who are helping you and have smiles on their faces and just, want to make sure that things run as smoothly as possible. And it makes you feel good knowing that the con is being run well, at least, your section of the con. So it's
well, and that's something we've heard pretty unanimously from everybody, is that it's just very well run. Everything is very spit and polish, very, very streamlined. Can you think of anything where they might be able to improve?
You know what? I feel like I'm sure I would, but now that I'm on the spot, I can't think of something. I think maybe communications could just be a little bit better, maybe. I know they sent out emails when we first registered about setup, but I think it was only for Thursday, and there wasn't a lot for Friday. So I think it would help if we knew more about what was going on. Because unfortunately, as artists, we register differently than the rest of the con, so some of the details are lost, and we have to kind of put more effort to look for it. So it would just be nice if they wouldn't mind sending out those kind of communications. But aside from that, everything is pretty nice. I really like having as much space as we do. So I hope that they don't try to expand it too much and try to squeeze in too many more people, because I feel like then we're going to start turning into like a crowded little con. So.
Yeah, that's actually something we heard from a lot of cosplayers too, is it's really nice that this aisle is, it's probably 15, 20 feet wide. It's huge. We've got the camera set up in the middle of the aisle, and there's room for traffic to go behind it, so it's really nice. So, as a last note, do you have anything you would tell any artists who wanted to get into doing something like this, or just to the cosplay community in general, the convention community in general? Any last notes?
I think if you want to do it, keep at it, especially for artists. Even if it seems like it's never going to happen, just keep drawing and draw what you love. That's how I started, and I feel like it shows in your artwork. If you do something you don't like, then people notice, and they'll be like, that's okay. It might not be your best piece. Usually the best pieces are the ones that you really enjoy doing. So I really suggest you keep pushing in that direction. And cosplayers, same thing. Don't let people peer pressure you because of your size, your shape, your color. Do what you love. And I think that's really the best thing that you can do.
We're here, Cosplay Culture again, and we are in the big anime game room, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
We're here with Diego, who is second command of Teabagger?
Right. Abbreviated as the Big Anime Game Room.
Okay, so how long have you guys been doing the anime game room?
Well, as far back as I go back to 2007 on the first SAC anime of winter, January 2007. That's when I met Jonas, which is my lead, and we kind of met at the same time. But we met prior to that at Paradise Island, but we were re-engaged on that part in acquaintances during that time. After that, we slowly came together with the so-called anime room at the time / game room, and from there we just built on.
Okay, so that's cool. So you've been at this for a good amount of time.
7-8 years now. Yeah.
Okay, so what is there been anything at this SAC anime that you thought, at least from your perspective, has worked a little better, worked a little worse, could use improvement, anything like that?
Oh yeah, plenty. Well, improvement. There's always room for improvement, but this time the rooms were much bigger. The last SAC anime was actually relatively smaller, but that all got situated, and we were promised a bigger room, and it finally happened. So that's good. For improvement, we do need more supplies, more inventory. We're still working on that. We just became an LLC right now, and things are going good. We have our own site now, and slowly but surely we're getting to that point. But like I said, always room for improvement, and there's always something going wrong when there's most of the time stuff going good. So that's usually a respectable balance that we try to do and try to assess.
Okay, so it sounds like overall, though, we've been making improvements, and it's definitely going better as we go.
Definitely. We can only think for the better, always.
Okay, so that's good. Do you have any little words of advice, encouragement, discouragement, whatever it is you might want to put out there for any con attendee or gamer, maybe a first timer, or somebody who might want to get into setting something like this up?
Yeah, I'm saying we started from the ground up, and we're still technically on the ground, but we're still rising higher. But never dampen your optimism. Do what you got to do. Don't ever take no for an answer, because we were throwing a lot of bad feedback a couple of times in the back. But sometimes you got to go through the bad before you can get to the good. So I say, start out small, but dream big, and keep that as your highest opportunity towards the future.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and you can look for us online.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Cosplay Culture here again with one of my favorite champions from League of Legends, Ari. So, just a few little questions, first of all, how long have you been cosplaying?
This is actually my first time cosplaying.
This is your first cosplay.
I guess I like challenges or something.
I hope we can see most of this, because this is kind of amazing. Can you give us a spin, too? This is probably one of the most amazing first cosplays I've ever seen. How much of it was purchased and how much of it was made?
I bought this balloon. I bought this corset. My sister and I made the skirt, the sleeves, the tails. My shoes are just Toms, but the tail's actually an umbrella that I covered with fur jackets from the thrift store, because fur is expensive.
That's very, very cool. That's really awesome. So, what are you thinking of? Well, this is your first time cosplaying. Have you done conventions before, or did you just start out full blast?
I just start out running, I guess.
I'm honestly impressed. I've got 10 years cosplaying, and this is impressive. Period. So, So I'm honestly, I'm going to be looking for what comes next because this is you've set your bar already. So have you had any thoughts about like this SAC anime, organization wise, con goer wise, anything kind of general feelings about this con?
It's actually really, really fun. I kind of feel like they need to turn on the AC a little bit more because some people are wearing more than others, and like there's people in fursuits, and I feel bad for them. Like I'm sweating and I'm barely wearing anything. So
Yeah, I know that. Anyway, so do you have? I mean, I know you're relatively new to it, but do you have any words of advice for maybe somebody who wants to get into cosplay, or just people who want to go to a con, or anything in general?
thrift shops are your friend because fur and whatever fabric might be expensive, but you'll be amazed about what you can find at a thrift shop. So don't sneer at that.
So once again, we've heard it: thrift shops, thrift shops, thrift shops, thrift shops.
If Macklemore didn't say it enough.
Thank you for making that joke because I made that last time and everybody looked at me like I was stupid. Okay, thank you for giving us your time. Cosplay Culture out here, out on the third floor balcony of the convention center, where we have found ourselves a corpse bride. So, how long have you been cosplaying?
This is actually my first year.
That is very cool, very impressive. So, which parts of the costume did you do yourself? Which parts did you buy, modify?
The whole dress is actually my mom's wedding dress. So I took off the huge 80s sleeves and I cut a slit, I added the ribs, and I painted it.
Coolest mom ever, by the way.
Yes.
So it's pretty impressive. It's one of those that like I'm here in person. This is cool. So have you had any thoughts about the convention in general, like how it's run, how how the attendees, the staff, whatever?
I just love them all. They're so amazing. Like the staff is so great, and all the people are so nice. And I've never had like a bad experience here ever.
So you've been here before. How many have you been to?
This is my third time to SAC Anime, and then I've been to like Fanime and such. So
Very cool. So you've been going to cons for about a year and a half, 2 years? Okay, that's cool. Well, do you have any words of advice to somebody who might be thinking about going to con, might be thinking about getting into cosplay, anything related to any of it? Words of advice to people in general, or, you hate the world, whatever?
just try your hardest and do your best and be happy with your costume. It doesn't matter what other people think. As long as you're happy, that should be good enough.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
This is Cosplay Culture here, right inside the third floor balcony. We are here with
Kira Gakash from Atlantis. She's a Disney princess.
I can't say that, but we've got this, and it's impressive. I like it. So, number one, how long have you been cosplaying?
For about 4 years now. I started here and we started developing and bettering my cosplay. Everything's gotten really good. I'm really excited.
Yeah, and no, it looks amazing. So, if you don't mind me asking, which parts are like purchased, which parts are homemade, handmade?
Everything is homemade, handmade. Purchased as far as my spirit and my mask, it's all foam. Foam works. Foam is what you need.
Foam for all. Okay, so what have you thought about this SAC Anime convention specifically? The staff, the organization, the con-goers.
I think everything is going really well. It's flowing. Like, everything is just as it should be. It's perfect. I feel really excited here because it's just like a con. You should enjoy yourself at a con, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
It's awesome. We've been hearing that from everybody, and that's exactly what we want to hear. So, last real question is, do you have any words of advice for anybody who might be thinking about going to con or might be thinking about getting into cosplaying, or, any words of advice in general?
Be as unique and creative as you want to be, and as, just inspiring. Do whatever you want. Don't be afraid. Just go out there and just glow,
Okay, well, Cosplay Culture here again in the dealer hall, and we're looking for some outside viewpoints on the whole con scene. So here we have what is a parent of one of the cosplayers who we found, and we're going to try to get his take on the whole situation. So, just as a first little question, is this the first con that you've gone to with your daughter, or is there other ones?
No, I've been to several. I've been to Anime Expo in Los Angeles twice, Fanime twice. This is probably my third or fourth SAC Anime.
Okay, that's cool. That's actually like, I wish I had parents as cool as you. So, so you've been to the SAC Anime before. What do you think about this time compared to previous SAC Animes?
I think this one is probably one of the better ones because it's not held at the old hotel in the north area, and it's got more room, and so there's more room for people to wander, to cosplay, and the vendors hall is much nicer.
Yeah, we have definitely been getting a lot of positive input on this one in particular. So, kind of an interesting question here is, would you have any words of advice or thoughts for parents of cosplayers or, people who are getting into anime or anything that, settle fears, anything like that?
Well, anime expos and these SAC anime things are a lot of fun for the students and young people. And if your student or child is interested in these things, let them enjoy it because it's a lot of fun, it's imaginative, and it sparks their artistic creativity. So I think it's a good thing for young people to do these things.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate you talking with us. CosplayCulture here with another random cosplayer poll. Just to start out, if you could tell us who you're cosplaying.
Leonardo da Vinci from Assassin's Creed 2.
First video game cosplay, at least Assassin's Creed for sure that we've hit. So just out of curiosity, was it bought? Was it built? Some of both?
Everything is handmade by me, including all the leather crafts, except for the pants. Everything is hand embroidered and...
That's astounding. That's gorgeous. That is truly, it's one of the most polished ones I've seen today.
All right, guys. Hey, it's Anthony. Steven had to go home, so basically he's left me in charge to take you around SAC Anime on Sunday. This is the last day, so everyone's a little tired, and as you can tell, this hallway isn't as packed as it was yesterday. So we're going to grab a few cosplayers, and yeah, maybe grab a few staff even. So let's go on an adventure. Hey, guys, we're here with...
John Walden, and I'm Nicholas D. Wolfwood from Trigun.
All right, so how long did this take you to make or buy?
Pretty much, I had all the clothes at home, and this was just the monster to make. It took me maybe a week in total, getting all the pieces, all the parts, and getting it all together.
So how long have you been cosplaying?
Since about 2006, so pretty long time.
Do you attend cons, is SAC Anime a regular con you attend, or is this your first year here?
I've come here since 2006, ever since it started out at the different locations, just been following it ever since.
So obviously you've noticed the changes they've made around here. Anything you liked or disliked?
Just kind of the placement of a lot of stuff. It seemed like when it was at the Radisson in previous years, everything was kind of wide open. This is a lot of different corridors and going different places, but it's a bigger venue, so that's a positive.
Have you any words of inspiration to cosplayers, congoers, or just the world itself?
Just go for it. If you find a character that you like, just go for it. If it takes you a little while to make, you're going to start out kind of trying to find your own way in it, kind of, doing some bad quality stuff, but eventually you'll get better at it.
Okay. Hi guys, once again, we've got another cosplayer, and we're here with Link.
Hop!
Yeah. So what do you think of the convention this year?
Hop! Hop!
All right. So how long does this take to make you? Take you to make?
Tip!
Okay. Yeah. So how long have you been cosplaying?
Tip! Hop!
All right. Yeah. So is there anything you would have changed about the convention?
Hat! Tap! Hip! Hop! Hat!
All right. Thanks, dude. All right. Hey, we're with.
I'm Paul.
What?
Paul?
Paul, and you're cosplaying?
Yoko from Gurren Lagann.
All right. So how long did this take to make?
A couple of days, I think.
So how long have you been cosplaying?
Right at a year now.
Only a year? So how many conventions have you been to?
I go to several I went to conventions even before I started cosplaying, so I've lost count. Frankly.
Oh, so basically you've only been cosplaying a year, but you've been going to cons. All right, cool.
Photography as well. So.
Cool. You do photography?
Yes.
Cool. So obviously you've noticed the new changes to the SAC Anime convention. What do you think of them?
They changed it actually last winter, and I was here for that. So it's bigger this year by far. I was surprised at the turnout. It's enjoyable. It still has somewhat of a small con feel to it, but with a large con venue now.
So anything you didn't like about the new area, or the new updates they've done, or anything you did like?
You know, closing off part of the convention center was awkward, making people go and walk around the Greek festival, and it seems like escalators are breaking down, so traffic flow could be improved. But other than that, everything was okay.
So if you had to tell anyone basically one thing about cosplay, what would it be?
Do what you enjoy. People say that certain people shouldn't cosplay certain characters, or I'm trying to do this without ranting on heroes of cosplay, frankly, but just do what you enjoy. Yeah, do it for the fun, and make sure you enjoy yourself.